An international operation to bring desperately needed aid into Gaza by sea is gathering momentum. A ship carrying humanitarian supplies from an American charity is preparing to leave Larnaca in Cyprus. The US and European Union will work with the United Arab Emirates and other countries to ship food, medicine, and emergency shelters.
The need for aid in Gaza is huge. An overnight Israeli strike in Rafah turned a tower block that once housed 300 families into rubble. Already fighting hunger, these Palestinians now must live without shelter.
We were surprised at night with knocking on the apartment doors, telling us to evacuate the tower. Our children fell on the stairs and women fell. A friend of mine's wife, who was 9 months pregnant, fell on the stairs. There was a state of panic and fear. You have no idea.
The European Union is coordinating these shipments of food, medicine, and other supplies. The EU, together with the US, the United Arab Emirates, and other countries, are launching a maritime corridor for ships to carry food and medicine to Gaza. The vessels being loaded in Cyprus are nearly ready to go.
There are many factors involved in a mission like this one. It's quite a challenge, so I can't predict a timetable for many reasons, because of time and security. But as soon as everything is ready, we leave from here.
One of the humanitarian agencies behind the shipment from Cyprus is constructing its own dock to offload the aid. Separately, the U.S. military is planning to build a pier, but construction could take as long as 2 months. Right now, aid is being dropped into Gaza from the air. Planes from Jordan, Egypt, the U.S., France, and Belgium are taking part in the operation. Some aid has trickled in by truck over Gaza's border to Egypt, but it's not enough to meet the needs of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, with the United Nations warning that Gaza is on the brink of famine.
Mike Martin of King's College London told me what needs to be done before the aid arrives in Gaza.
So the first thing that needs sorting out is the permissions and paperwork have still not been completed in Cyprus, and part of that is the Israelis signing off the shipment. The actual journey from Cyprus to Gaza is about 200 nautical miles, so a ship of that type could do that in a day or less if it wanted to, and this is where it then starts to get very difficult. According to the charities involved, they are planning on building, or indeed already are building, a pier out to receive the supplies from the ship. It's very shallow water, it's a beach, so you can't just drive the ship up to the coast. Assuming they're able to do that, and that's an undisclosed location for security reasons, then there's the biggest problem of all, which is distribution on land. How do you make sure that the aid is not mobbed and stolen? Millions of or thousands of desperate people, how do they distribute it in a fair way?
And whose responsibility is that?
So you've basically got two options. At the point at which the supplies hit the shore, then the general idea would be that one of these aid agencies would control, would warehouse and control the central stockage of those supplies. But then to get them out to distribution centres located around the Gaza Strip, that's a big problem, because at the start of the conflict, the Palestinian police were still on duty, but they were carrying weapons, and so they were targeted by the Israelis because they were carrying, they were young men carrying weapons, and so they've effectively gone home. And that's one of the reasons why we've had the breakdown of law and order. So some sort of deal that enables those police to go back to work, perhaps unarmed, so that they can ensure that those supplies are able to get out, is probably needed in order to get it to the 10, 20, 30 distribution points in different neighbourhoods around Gaza.
You mentioned the pier that's going to serve temporarily, but the US is also building its own dock that could take up to 2 months to build. What form is that likely to take, and what difference would that one make?
So the US military has got ready-made equipment. It's effectively a floating pontoon that gets anchored to the seabed, and then you build a floating a causeway linking up that pontoon to the seashore, and that equipment is in storage and ready to go, which is why I'm quite surprised that they're saying it's going to take 60 days to get it there. The unit of the US military that's responsible for using that equipment has been tasked already, is getting ready to go. I would think that the US is able to do it much quicker than that. I wonder whether actually they are under-promising so that they can over-deliver. I think they would be able to get it done much quicker than that because, as I say, the equipment will be in storage and ready to go.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Mike Martin from King's College London, thank you for your analysis.
Thank you very much.
Well, joining me from Cyprus, where that ship is being prepared, is Erin Gorte from the organisation World Central Kitchen. It has supplied the aid that ship is transporting. Erin, thanks for your time. What kind of aid are you sending to Gaza on that ship behind you, and how many people is that going to help?
Yeah, we have 200 tons of food going out on this first shipment. It'll feed about 2 million people. This is just the beginning for us. We're going to send more ships after this. After this first one goes, we already have another ship on the way, and we have another 500 tons of food here in Cyprus ready to be deployed to Gaza.
Erin, all that assistance is ready to go. How quickly will it get from there into the hands of Gazans?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of factors at play here. Weather, certainly the biggest one when you're dealing with a ship in a maritime corridor like this. The transit itself is about 60 hours. So we are looking to leave port as soon as possible and to have the steady supply of just continuous food flowing from Cyprus to Gaza. But we are very much at the mercy of the weather at this point. We have the food is loaded. We actually just finished loading it today. So as soon as we are able to leave port, we will do so.
So leaving port is one thing, then there's the transport of 60 hours, as you say. How will the aid safely arrive in Gaza, given that at this moment it doesn't have a functioning port?
Yeah, that's right. Our team in Gaza is working very feverishly to build a temporary port right now, and that construction has started. It is a critical factor, like you said, in getting the food off the boat and into the hands of Gazans, which is the mission, right? That is success for us, and not only success, but a continuous flow. So we have a small team here in Cyprus. We have a bigger team in Gaza. We've served nearly 34 million meals in Gaza. Have really dispatched 1,400 trucks. And so our operations by land, now by sea, a little bit by air as well, has really just helped us to get as much food as possible into Gaza right now.
Erin, you say that the port or the dock is under construction. How long, for instance, do you know how long it would take to unload that ship behind you and get that food onto land?
We will find out. This is the first of many, and there's, like I said, a lot of factors at play. World Central Kitchen, our rule is that we plan to adapt. We tend to meet these moments and have a whatever it takes attitude. We plan as best we can. We do have some infrastructure ready to get the food off the barge onto land. But look, we're gonna learn, we're gonna adapt, and we're gonna see how this first shipment by boat goes. But like I said, we have a team that's on land and lots of community helpers. We have, with World Central Kitchen, nearly 400 Palestinians that are making this mission possible. So we have a lot of people, a lot of players involved in this.
Erin, just before I let you go, what are the chances that you can match the sort of volumes that could have been delivered by road previously that you'll now be taking by sea?
That's a challenge right now. Let's see again how this first run goes. The massive amount of aid that's needed right now. I mean, our one guarantee is by land. That continues to be our focus here at World Central Kitchen. We have another ship on the way. There's lots of conversations by lots of countries that are also going to deliver maritime aid. So we'll see right now. More is more for Gaza, and that's a win. As much as we can keep pushing for all corridors to be flooded with food right now, that's what's needed. That's what's needed. So from World Central Kitchen, I can say we're going to do as much as possible.
Lots of work to be done. Good luck. Thanks, Erin Gorte from the aid organisation World Central Kitchen. Now, Hiba Tibi, West Bank and Gaza Country Director for the aid agency Care International in Ramallah, joins me now. Hiba, so a ship of EU with relief supplies could soon set sail from Cyprus. The USA wants to build a temporary port off Gaza to make a bridge from land in Gaza to sea to meet these aid ships. Do we know, is this effort, this idea, moving forward in practice?
Thank you, Anthony, for this question. What is matter now is that we try to find the best, most efficient, quickest solution that would allow us to enter aid into Gaza. Of course, any kind of potential increase in humanitarian assistance is more than welcome. Currently, because we are talking about, especially in the north, around 25% of the population of Gaza are now moving one step away from being declared under famine stage. This means that we are also hearing about children who are in acute malnutrition. One of 6 children under the age of 2 now in the north of Gaza, and we have heard about the different children that passed away, unfortunately, over the last days because of dehydration and hunger. This means that we need to find again the most efficient solution, the quickest one. Having that said, we also know that, as you mentioned, any effort that is going to be launched now through the sea is a good one, but it will take 2 months. And it does not in any way will be able to replace the already existing border points. The one in Rafah, potentially other borders like Erez, Karm Abu Salem, all the points that exist, and where we have already thousands of trucks waiting at the border to enter at any moment to the north and to the south of Gaza.
So with so much needed, what difference would or could aid deliveries by sea make in this scenario? Will this give Gaza the volume of aid that it needs?
Unfortunately not. If in this moment, both while we are talking, a ceasefire is declared, the needs are massive at all levels. Infrastructure level, health level, fuel level, water, food, services that exist for different kind of services that are needed in Gaza are massive. And we need to start working immediately on maximizing the aid entry. Over February, only 50% of the aid that made it in January was in Gaza, was allowed to Gaza. And if we used to describe this as a drop in the ocean of the needs, you can imagine half of that is something that is not even equaling what we used to say half a drop in the ocean. This means that we need to increase the number of aid, make it more consistent, include different components. For instance, water, medicine, medical equipment, fuel for at least the main services, including water desalination and hospitals. And this is required at massive level. And this is why we always say this is unprecedented, as this is coming on huge scale.
Hiba Tibi, West Bank and Gaza Country Director for the aid agency Care International in Ramallah. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, dear.